I'm sending a red rocket to probe Uranus.
Padded Room Radio is on the air, you maniacs. My name is Darian. I have returned for another week. Another goddamn week of horror, nonsense, and bullshit. I'm going to continue to waste your time and my time and Jason Harrell's time. What's up, Jason?
How are you?
Good. How are you, my friend?
I am spectacular.
Spectacular?
Spectacular.
Beautiful. How's things at the Harrell home, my friend?
Great and congested and the same as always.
Allergies?
Allergies.
It's going around.
It is that time.
So here's what I do.
Or AIDS, one or the other.
Vastly different in their symptoms.
Noted.
Vastly different. Here's what I do. I do a Benadryl at night, knocks me clean on my ass, which is good because if I don't, then I'll have the party crew in my bedroom all night.
Right.
And then when I wake up in the morning, I do the Flonase.
Okay.
And that's worked out pretty good for me so far.
At what time do you take the Valtrex?
That is actually, I have to take that with food.
Oh, okay.
So that's mid-breakfast.
And penis.
And penis. That's my winning combo for allergies, my friend. Are you on any of the above-mentioned medications?
I don't even know what all I shove into myself at this point, and I mean that in every kind of unimaginable way.
I know exactly what you shove into yourself.
So many chemicals, so many pharmaceuticals.
Anything help?
Eye of Newt, witch's brew, whatever I can
Sure,
get.
yeah.
No, nothing helps.
Nothing at all.
No, nothing.
You're just not a desert creature, my friend.
I loathe being out here.
This is allergy country. Dude.
Yeah, I thought I was escaping like the pine tree or all of the pollen from the trees back east.
Yeah.
Coming out this way, but no, it's just more.
Now you have dust.
a lot of dust.
You open your window for 5 seconds, you're coated in dust.
Yeah.
And so is your dashboard.
I just thought that was old age kicking in.
I mean that too. You're not a spring chicken.
I'm
there,
getting
Jason.
a little ashy.
Me too. It's fine. Well, we got a horror show, buddy. Not here, of course. Monica, who knows? That pretty much goes without saying at this point. But we do have a regular horror show to get into here, my friend. We got horror news. We got listener mail. We got all kinds of movies to talk about. Let's kick things off with a little horror news. Hot dog.
All right.
Horror news.
What do you got, big boy?
Well, I myself have nothing. Okay. However, my loving wife, Sarah, has given me some stuff she wants me to relay here.
Some talking points. I love it.
So we'll go...
Thank you, Sarah.
Fairly verbatim. Sound effects included. Do-do-do-do-do-do. This just in. Do-do-do-do.
The teletype.
The Oogie Boogie Bash tickets go on sale for Disneyland.
Okay.
General admission, 6:30 or June 30th at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. Get them while you still can because they will sell out.
They will.
You ever done that with the kids or anything?
No, but I was there last year.
Yeah.
We did not pay for the Oogie Boogie
Right,
Bash.
yeah.
But we were there as everybody was piling in for the Oogie Boogie Bash.
It's really fun.
It looked like a lot of fun. We had to haul ass like 2 hours across town to make it to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that was a whole thing. But if we did go back, I would definitely stay for the Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah. It really is. The Hocus Pocus 2 trailer dropped today. I won't be mad at it, but it's 20 years too late. Code Orange, folks. Code Orange. Yep. Home Depot is dropping their Halloween merchandise online on Orange Friday, July 15th at midnight. Now's your chance to own your very own 12-foot boner. Those always sell out, so get on it. Get it? Then she sends me an update. What We Do in the Shadows season 4 airs July 12th.
Nice.
Bet! And then she ends with, that's all, folks. Back to you, faggots.
Wow! That was uncalled for. I love it, though. I love that about her.
I told you I'd read it verbatim.
I love that about her. Go ahead. Every news person has like their own sign-off.
That one should definitely
Back to you, faggots.
I don't believe I ever heard Walter Cronkite signing off with that one.
I think he may have in the early days, but back in the day, I'm a huge Adam Carolla fan.
Yeah,
and he has his news girl. Well, he's gone through a few news girls, but one of them, her sign off was "Zip it, cunt."
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
That.
Yeah,
that's the news. I'm Allison Rosen. Zip it, cunt.
I like it.
So, a few things. First off, Sarah, thank you very much for the news items. Any contributions are always greatly prohibited. Appreciated. I love the Home Depot Halloween selection. My question to you: July 12th. That feels very, very early. And I realize that's not the in-store display. It's only the online thing. Nothing pisses me off more than walking into a Walmart, period, really. But
just in the sentence there.
Just in general. But going into a Walmart on like August 1st and seeing the Christmas trees up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we are of a horror DNA, and Halloween holds a certain spot in our hearts. Mm-hmm. But do you think that might be a bit early? July, mid-July?
I mean, early in the context of it's really far away, true. But I mean it beats looking at lawnmowers.
That's true.
I mean, I'd rather look at that than bug spray.
That's true. But then with that, what I also noticed is that the earlier it shows up, the earlier it goes away. So
absolutely.
Early October, you go in there thinking you're going to buy a 12-foot boner or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, we drove all the way down to Vegas just to go to At Home for their Halloween stuff. And they're like, yeah, all that shit's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was way before Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween had already been vacated for Christmas stuff.
Exactly. Even if you go to a Michael's, early October,
it's
ancient
gone.
History. You're looking at a bunch of fucking Thanksgiving crap, which
absolutely.
is weird.
Yeah, so I don't know when they'll stop because it does just continue to show up earlier, but also vacate a lot earlier.
Exactly. So that's kind of weird. I like it, but I don't like shopping for Halloween stuff in shorts and a tank top. You know?
It just feels
weird.
It feels wrong.
It's weird. Hocus Pocus 2.
Yes.
Do you give a shit?
I mean, I don't like most of those broads in it. But, I mean, for the sake of nostalgia, we do, routinely rewatch Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
As part of kind of our Halloween.
I will never...
Or kind of throughout the year, really.
I will never understand the appeal of that movie.
It's a good, Halloween background type movie.
Sure.
It's nothing that I want to pay special attention to.
I mean, it's vaunted in the horror community.
Yeah.
Oh, Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus 2. Oh, my God. The sisters. Oh, they're back.
Yeah.
It's fine. Maybe I was just too old when I saw it.
Sure.
It is a kid's movie, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not all wet in the crotch about it.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be watching it.
I'm into it. Right on. Do you know the name Kyle MacLachlan?
No.
You do. If you don't know the name, you would definitely know the face.
Sarah McLachlan's older brother.
No, he was for some reason I would call him a mediocre actor.
Okay.
For some reason, he's just got a face that people seem to enjoy.
All right.
For some reason. Twin Peaks.
Never watched it.
What else? Showgirls.
Never watched it. Well, I watched the important part.
If I showed you a picture of him, you'd be like, yeah, that guy.
That guy.
He has joined the cast of Fallout, the TV series.
No, okay.
Were you a Fallout player at all, Jason?
Nope, never did.
I tried it.
So you're hitting on 0 for 3 so far.
Perfect. I tried Fallout. Way too much reading for a video game.
Way too many. Too much with the literacy.
With the fucking words and all that. Forget the whole thing. The Retaliators coming out this September, starring the lead singer of Papa Roach, Jacoby Shaddix. Now, we've seen horror movies. Yeah, you know that guy, right?
I know that guy.
Yeah, he was in every other David Lynch movie for some goddamn reason. He's fine. I'd call him mediocre. There's that. But back to the Retaliators. We've seen rock stars attempt to branch off into the horror community, horror movies, things like that. It's worth a watch,
sure.
I think. No trailers out yet, no plot synopsis, anything like that. I like Papa Roach. I like the music. I've seen him live a couple of times.
That's Sarah's. That's her group right there.
That's her jam, Papa Roach.
100%.
I will say this. I saw them at Crew Fest 2010-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it was them, Motley Crue, Trapped, Buck Cherry, and a bunch of other dudes. They stole the show, dude.
Yeah.
Easily. Jacoby comes out, starts walking around the crowd, just hanging with everybody, as he's singing and rapping and all that stuff.
Right.
It was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel.
Mm-hmm. Afterlife.
After Hours Afterlife. This is going to be an adult themed. Has been confirmed for a Christmas 2023 release.
I want to see Ghostbusters Afterbirth.
That sounds gross. Have you seen that movie, Afterbirth?
No.
What's her name? Natasha Lyonne. Bizarre. Very bizarre.
Noted.
I would... Well, that's a whole...
Sounds like a winner.
That's...
So what's the release date for this?
Christmas 2023.
Okay.
For another Ghostbusters installment.
All right.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I like this last one.
I'm excited for it.
Still have never seen part 2.
Have you... I mean, it's not going to get any worse than the Paul Feig Ghostbusters.
Didn't watch it.
I did.
Did you really?
I did, on your pirate ship, because I refused to pay for it. It's every ounce as disappointing as you would expect it to be.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Ghostbusters 2, not. It's not bad, but there's a drop off between Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2.
Sure.
I'll say that. Lastly, this is something I'm excited for. Frankenstein Untold has been announced.
Okay.
Now, I don't know anything about it other than it's being released by Sky Studios. But what I would like to believe, Jason Harrell, is that this is some kind of a follow-up to Dracula Untold. And that somehow... Because that one was left open-ended.
And that's a great movie.
It is a great movie. There's some silly parts to it, but it's still fine. I would like to think that these are going to tie in somehow.
That'd be good.
6 years later? 8 years later? Something like
Yeah.
that. It's been a while.
Probably 8, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah. But since the Dark Universe fell flat, maybe we can get something going here.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is that Charles Dance character to show up again with his dark... He was the original vampire that was in the cave.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's like, this is a dark gift, and you need to do it and all that stuff.
Very creepy.
Very creepy. That's all I got on the horror news there, Schnauzer. You got anything else?
No, I don't. They're hot dogs.
I just wanted to call you Schnauzer. I know you don't have anything else. All right, how about some listener mail then?
Listener mail.
Yes, indeed. Jason, let's start things off over in Sydney, Australia with our maid man, Tim. Subject
Don't
line.
mind if I didgeridoo.
Oh, no. He's doing the accents again, boys. We are in trouble. Subject line, hey! Hey, boys and girls, how's everything this week? Terradome, I'm going with the Wrong Turn Boys. Just something different, and I like some more. Okay? Darian, are you near dark? That's it for me this week. Love you guys. Tim, I am indeed near dark, Tim. You got that. I don't know what... Oh, I think maybe he wants me to continue writing about the Wrong Turn guys. which is fine. I could do that.
Better than a tomato.
It's true. Did you ever see that last Wrong Turn movie?
I've never seen. I think I saw the very first Wrong Turn. I don't think I've seen any of the other ones. If I want to see that, I'll go to a family reunion.
I know. That's kind of how you roll. It's weird, but that last one was very not horror, very politically charged, I would say. Yeah.
Wrong Turn series versus Hatchet series.
I'll take the Wrong Turns any day.
Okay.
The Hatchet.
You're not a big fan of the Hatchet series.
They're not horror movies. They are not horror movies.
I've never seen anything beyond the first one.
I saw the first three, and no, they're not horror movies. I would call them horror fan movies.
Yeah,
which is
too much ham-fisted fan service
with all the winks and nods. I don't need it. I don't need that shit, Jason. Don't bring that shit to me.
Then don't. They just don't.
I don't. Don't do that. Here, let's get over to the open road. Here comes Freddie.
Ew.
Subject line: driver tip. All right, but just the tip, Freddie.
Just the tip.
Hey, folks, easy vote this week. I'm taking the nurses. I think rednecks would make too much noise. And again, I have no idea about Educate, but I think it's an older movie. Now, for the driver's tip of the week, learn to use your mirrors. I think the girl in this week's movie would have played reverse mailbox. Wouldn't have played reverse mailbox if her brother had checked his mirrors. LOL. I do enjoy the movie and have it in my rig, so I did search it this week. Not going to lie, I still root for the telephone pole every time. Stay safe out there. Cheers, Freddie.
If only the telephone pole could make its way into the Terradome.
Don't give them any ideas. God damn it. Two more for the nurses.
And in the finals, telephone pole versus tomato.
Right on, Freddie. Thanks for writing in, buddy. Let's see who's up next. Here comes the horror slut, all the way from jolly old England. Cats in the house. Subject line: sexy nurses. Evening, gent or gents. I do not have much this week, thanks to another double shift rotation. Of course, I'm voting for my nurses because we are awesome even when we're demonic. Educate, I believe you are near dark. Yes, I am. And I can't believe I missed last week's, but it's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I look forward to listening in the morning and hope everyone has a safe and healthy week. Kat. Thank you very much, Kat. You have a safe and healthy week, my dear. I am, in fact, near dark. That's kind of a layup. What do you think of Near Dark, Jason?
Just saw it for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Recently.
All right.
It's got Bill Paxton in it.
He's very hammy.
I hate me some Bill Paxton.
You don't like Bill Paxton?
I do not like Bill Paxton.
I don't like him in Near Dark.
I don't like him in film.
What is it about Bill Paxton?
He's horrible.
He's not that bad.
He is horrible. We'll make it an entire show someday.
We're doing Bill Paxton month.
Oh, gosh. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. But what did you think of the movie altogether, other than Bill Paxton?
I thought it was really hyped up for me. And a lot of years of being hyped up for me. And I just thought it was a bit silly.
It's basically, it came out the same year as The Lost Boys. It's just a grimier kind of a Lost Boys situation.
I watched the Red Letter Media guys talking about it, so it kind of inspired me to go and watch it. And it definitely was the shittier side of vampirism.
It's true,
because it's definitely not the the hoity-toity, rich and fancy vampiric lifestyle that you would hope for.
That's the only reason to be a vampire.
It's the only reason.
And now you're telling me I got to live in a fucking van with these
pedo van with a bunch of stinkers,
stinky shits. Come on, and
Bill Paxton horribly acting around me.
Forget it. Fuck this. Let's get back here to Reno, Nevada. Here comes the cowboy. Subject line: new pickup line. Okay. Evening padded room. Hope everyone is doing well and made it in tonight. Crazy week at work already with the temporary management, but lucky me, my route keeps me away most of the day. Terradome, got to go with the nurses. I don't think the brothers are smart enough or quiet enough to take them out, and the nurses are much sexier.
It's all that damn banjo playing.
That's what it is. And all that really like howling. Crazy. Educate, Near Dark, of course. I was going to guess God Monster of Indian Flats, but they weren't brothers. This is a stupid fucking movie. Had a chance to catch a few movies over the weekend. Alone, standard boy meets girl during zombie apocalypse. Boy must save girl. I won't spoil it, but I enjoyed it and think it's a fun watch. You say Alone, I'm thinking of the chick that gets abducted off the Oregon highway. There's another movie called Alone. It's not that great. Inmate Zero, another infected zombie movie. Okay if you're on a zombie kick. But not really one I'll recommend or watch again. The Devil's Candy, Educate gives a really good movie. Haha. I've had it on my watch list for a while, but you sparked watching it sooner, and thank you. I really liked it and think I'll watch it again here and there. Now I'll leave you with nothing. That's the end of the email.
With mystery.
With a complete mystery there, cowboy. Well, thanks for writing in, big guy. Got your loads locked in and loaded. And now we have some voicemails, Jason.
Aye.
Jason, let's kick things off in your neck of the woods. Down in the funky old South, here comes Alan.
Ding, 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 ding.
We should.
Padded room, what's up? Hope everybody's doing
What's
good.
up, Alan?
All right. So, Terror Dome. I'm going to go with the Haddocker brothers.
Sure.
Because they got range.
It's true.
Anyway, Mr. Darian, are you near dark?
I am.
That's all I got. Y'all have a good one.
You got me.
See you, Alan.
Beautiful. Thanks for calling in, Alan. Yep, you got me. It was an easy one this week, I feel like, right?
Yep.
Near Dark, everybody's seen it, except for you until recently. 2 more for the Haddockers. If you feel like doing a deep dive and going down the wrong turn hole,
Boy, do I ever.
I mean, 2 is really more of a comedy. Because that's where they have, like, the Haddocker sister gets involved. And there is a lot of incest and some of the most bizarre sex scenes you've ever seen in your life.
Boner alert.
They know. 3 and 4 aren't bad. One of them is like a Haddocker backstory. That's pretty much you could. That's as far as you
Is
need to
that
go.
it?
I think that's as far as you need to go. Really. Let's get down to Southern California. Here comes Mr. Tom Hardy. Hey yo.
Hey yo, padded room. How's my favorite degenerates this week?
Hey, we're here.
I hope y'all are doing well. Everyone's hanging in there.
We're making it.
My God, I am on some sort of wild fucking streak
Tell
on
you
the
what,
tearing
education
it up.
department. Can't believe we pulled that out. The fall of the House of Usher.
You nailed it.
And today, you know what I got for you?
Huh.
Near dark. Because my call kept going in, coming in and out last time, the signal, I'm going to say it again at the end of this call, Near
Okay.
dark, because I got to make sure
I
I get
got you.
credit. Holy shit, what a streak I'm on.
You are
Living
killing
my
it.
best horror life, I guess. Anyway, on to the rest of this shit.
Sir.
On the Terror Dome there, the nurses and the rednecks.
The Haddockers, yes.
I've never played that video game, Silent Hill, so I honestly don't know anything about the nurses.
Okay.
So that's why I'm just going to say give it to the fucking
The Haddockers.
backwoods rednecks.
Sure.
You know what? Fuck it. I believe the nurses are supernatural, but just the same, I still got to go with my rednecks.
Okay. Take them.
Fuck, man. Oh, on the What Are You Looking At department, I was able to start the Midnight Mass.
It's a good show.
Pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Kind of, the reveal has happened, if I would. I think it's like the 4th episode, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've been able to catch that couple episodes of the Buffy with the family.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's about all I got going. I did want to say, I was noticing that every time Darian's got a host there, or co-host, I should say, their mother gets ill. Happened with
It's true.
Monica,
But
happened with Buddy, now it's happened with Jason. Kind of curious there, what kind of curse you got going on there.
I
But
don't
anyway,
like moms.
Hey.
with that being said, if you're lead of co-host, I will fly up to Reno on my
Ooh.
own dime,
Hey now.
and I will be happy to sit in there, and
Yeah?
see what we can do. See if that curse is a real thing.
Yeah?
Anyway,
How's
hope
your
all
mom?
is well. Love you like family. Bye now.
Love you too, Tom Hardy.
See ya.
You sure you want to come up in here, Tom Hardy?
You want none of this,
I'm
pal.
just saying, maybe you were adopted or something. You never know.
Gonna
Right
need
on,
a
man.
lot of penicillin.
Just saying. Maybe it's something in the air over here. Maybe it's maybe I'm paying late night visits to people's elderly mothers. Oh, yuck. All right, let me just take a quick look at the old junk folder here. Good to do. Looks like we're all good. Going back to... okay, looks like that's all we got. Jason Harrell,
Aye.
do you have anything for Alan, Tom Hardy, Cat, Cowboy, Freddie, or Team?
Just the same old love.
Aw, so sweet.
I'm a sweetie.
Speaking of family love, you ain't getting any more of it tonight, my friend. It's nothing but paint thinner and matches. Here comes Hereditary.
Very fractured family.
Come on, Peter. Let's just do it.
It's heartening to see so many strange new faces here today. I know my mom would be very touched and probably a little suspicious. My mother was a very secretive and private woman. It's Grandma. You know you were her favorite, right? Even when you were a little baby, she wouldn't let me feed you because she needed to feed you. She was a very difficult woman, which maybe explains me.
I recognize you from your mother.
What? Sometimes I swear I can feel them in the room.
She isn't gone.
She had private rituals, private friends.
Who's gonna take care of me?
You don't think I'm gonna take care of you?
But when you die,
She wasn't altogether there. At the end.
I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this.
What's happening? Peter! Don't you ever raise your voice to me! Make it stop! Make it stop!
I just don't want to put any more stress on my family.
That's right, Jason Harrell. It's Hereditary.
Yes, it is.
2018. 7.3 stars on IMDb. Written and directed by Ari Aster. Stars Toni Collette, Miley Shapiro, and Gabriel Byrne. It's got a solid R rating, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Periodically, I start to feel sorry for myself, and I think about my childhood and my upbringing, and then I watch Hereditary, and I'm like, hey,
Great life.
ain't that bad. Ain't all that bad, actually. This is what makes me a horror fan. Movies like this, dark, disturbing,
Miserable.
bleak, really makes you just feel not necessarily dirty, but just kind of a even without the horror elements, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely. From start to finish.
Absolutely. A lot going on here. A lot to unpack. I've got some fan theories coming at your face. Neither Ari Aster won't confirm or deny any of them, but either way, there's something to think about. We start off in actually Utah, of all places. I thought we were in like the Pacific Northwest, just looking at
Felt like it.
like the cloudy and like the forest and the house and everything. Beautiful house here. I would love to live in this house.
Yeah. Huge.
Huge. Very well-to-do family. We've got two parents together, Annie and Steve, and we have two kids, Peter and Charlie. Peter is a teenage son. Charlie's a 13-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. What's up with her?
I do not know.
I don't know either. The actress they got to play her, Millie Shapiro. Mm-hmm. What's up with her? That's not normal. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to use the U word or the fucking... I don't know, but clearly...
So when they do these casting calls, And it says, looking for.
Right.
Middle-aged man, relatively good-looking, dark hair,
Sure.
Somewhat athletic. What do you think her casting call said?
I don't know. Weird. Probably just weird.
Looking for weird, about 13 years old.
Yeah, somewhat off-putting 13-year-old face,
Yeah.
I think is what we're looking for. And they found it, my friend. There's clearly something up with her. I don't know what it is.
An odd-looking girl.
It's got to be like some kind of a fucking, not a deformity per se, but like some kind of condition there that makes her look like that. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know, but she is definitely, she sticks out. Let's put it that way. Everything is well-to-do, like financially. We're going to pick up with this family just as Annie's mother has passed away, and we're going to her funeral. Off the bat, I can tell you something ain't right between Annie and her mom. Like the way she delivers the eulogy at the funeral, she's like, well, my mom didn't really like any of you people, and she probably wouldn't want you here looking at her.
She was very secretive.
Very secretive, and she didn't,
kind of a weird bitch.
Suspicious, and she was a hard woman. It's always great when you describe somebody as hard.
She's a hard woman.
We can't say for sure because that chapter of the story is already come and gone, but I would say just judging by the aftermath thereof, Annie probably didn't have the best childhood. Probably an overbearing mother, but like in a weird, distant kind of way. I can't say for sure. Regardless, we lay Mom to rest and we continue on with our daily life. Annie's not dealing with the loss of her mother that well. Apparently, she has a job as some kind of an artist making miniatures. How fucking dope would that be?
Pretty dope.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I have neither the patience nor the artistic ability, but I would love to like recreate horror movie scenes in miniature somehow and find some fucking niche market.
I'll give you $10 right now just to make me one.
I can't. You're going to want your money back by the time I show you what I got.
Well, you're pretty good with Legos.
Did you make that out of marshmallows? Yeah, Deacon, make it out of macaroni noodles, right? But it would be totally cool. But she's just like recreating like traumatic experiences in her life, but in miniature, almost like in dollhouse-esque situations, but with like stunning accuracy and like crazy attention to detail. She's doing well at it. She has like an art show lined up, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, uses it for not only like professionally, but as like a cathartic means to, deal with her emotions and things like that.
Totally. And as the story goes on, we're going to come to realize Annie's got some screws loose there, Jason.
And a lot of suppressed feelings, emotions, life events.
You can say that, sure. So that's where we're at. We pick up with them. They're already... They're not depressed. I wouldn't say they're depressed at the onset of the movie. Annie is because she just lost her mom. Apparently mom was living with them at the time of her demise, and now we have to go clean out mom's room. We find a bunch of weird shit. Triangle on the floorboards. All right, that's weird. That's something. Might be something. Photo albums. Annie doesn't really want to do the deep dive just yet. She's still distancing herself. It's fine. We're going to pick up with Peter at school and Charlie at school also. Charlie has a weird penchant for, also kind of like her mom in a weird way, making dolls out of random shit that she finds.
Yeah, bottle caps.
Yeah, pill bottles,
springs,
decapitated dead bird.
Yeah,
just weird. Shit.
Whatever works.
Yeah, I would say I don't know anything about anything, but I would say Charlie is probably autistic, right? Or just like the hoodie, the baggy hoodie.
Yeah.
The lack of personal hygiene. She's 13. Most girls at that age are like starting to like care about their appearance. Charlie actually appears to care less about her appearance. I don't know. She keeps traipsing out into the woods barefooted, spending the night in a treehouse, and this climate is it's got to be sub-zero out there. But this is where things are going to start to get weird because we start to lay down a little bit of a layer of possible paranormal activity here. Charlie goes walking out in the woods by herself one day and happens upon what looks like a ritual in progress, I guess, like weird chicks out in the woods wearing white. As soon as she turns around, though, they're all gone. So could be in her head, could be some kind of a ghosty situation. In the meantime, Annie's upstairs going through Mom's stuff, and she's visited periodically by the apparition of Mom. But, again, could be in her head, could be her own grief playing with her.
And it's very faint.
Or it could be a haunted situation. We don't know yet, Jason. We don't know what we're getting into here.
No, but I bet we find out.
We're going to find out pretty soon. From there, we're going to pick up with Peter. He's the awkward teenage kid. We were all awkward teenage kids at one point. Boys probably a little more so than girls, but he's that guy. I think the most telling scene relating to his circumstance is where he's sitting in class, zeroed in on the behind of the girl in front of him, completely oblivious to whatever the hell else is going on.
Yeah.
And there's that. But, I mean, awkward teenageness, mom's grief, weird 13-year-old withstanding. At this point, we are somewhat of a normal family. Now, Jason, is where things get weird. We're going to find out that Charlie has a severe peanut allergy. It happens. It seems to be happening a lot with kids these days. And Peter gets tapped to go to one of his friends' parties the following weekend. And for some reason, Annie forces him to take Charlie with him.
Yeah, not awkward at all.
No. Why would you do that? Don't do that. It's a high school party. She's 13 years old. And she's Charlie. She's not... she's not a social creature by any stretch of the imagination.
No social butterfly.
Maybe we're trying to force her into some kind of a social situation. Peter's not interested, but he knows he can't go unless he takes her. Charlie's not interested, but she's kind of been strong-armed into this by her mom, so now that's what we're doing. Big party. Everybody's having a great time. Peter has weed, and the chick with the ass is there, so he's going to try and get on top of her. In order to do that, he's got to kind of shove off Charlie somewhere, so she goes and helps herself to some chocolate cake in the kitchen. Wouldn't you know, that shit is packed with walnuts.
Son of a bitch.
Have you ever had an allergic reaction to anything, like a severe one?
No.
Periodically, when I go on long-distance runs...
Oh, I've heard you talk about this.
I'll be fine. Like, as soon as... It won't hit me until like an hour after I've stopped running.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, just like Charlie, my eyes swell shut, I can't breathe, I turn bright red for some goddamn reason. It's a whole fucking thing. If I can kind of feel it when it's coming on, and if I get enough Benadryl and Allerclear in me, I can kind of taper it off a little bit. But sometimes they'll just hit me out of nowhere.
It's weird.
My head will just swell up like a tomato, and I can't breathe.
I'm pretty allergic to running, so it probably happened to me too.
Yeah, you don't want to do it, man.
Yeah.
You don't want that. It's kind of scary, and I look like the Toxic Avenger for a couple hours. It's nasty.
That's very bizarre, though.
It is, and it's not every time, and it's weird, man. So I've even, back when I used to go to the gym, I would run on the treadmill. Happened once or twice there.
Weird.
Disgusting. Really gross. Anyway, Charlie's having an allergic reaction, Jay, and just like me, her head's swelling up. You can't really tell the way she looks.
Jeez.
She's like choking. She tracks Peter down. He's getting high with his friends. She's like, I can't breathe. It feels weird. He's like, oh shit, we gotta go. So he grabs Charlie, throws her in the car, and they go hauling ass to the hospital. Charlie is having a severe reaction. She's like clawing at her throat and thrashing around in the back seat. She gets the window down and sticks her head out the window. And this is a real kick in the nuts if you haven't seen this movie before. Or even if you've never heard anything about this movie, this part right here is just a sock to the fucking taint. Because she sticks her head out the window. He's pushing 80 miles an hour, thinking he's, in an emergency situation trying to get her to the hospital. There's a fucking telephone pole, and her head just goes clean off it.
Yeah, he swerves. There's a dead deer, so he swerves just to the right, just close enough to that pole to clip that head right off.
Bazam.
And it's just very quick, very subtle.
Boom. Now, something you may or may not have noticed, when they're driving to the party, he drives past that particular telephone pole, and the camera just kind of stays on it for a second. Something you don't pick up on the first time you see it, but watching it the second or third time, you're like, ha, ha, ha.
Yep.
Now, most of you have probably seen this movie. This is probably the beginning of one of my favorite memes of all time, which was from back in the COVID era. Well, we're still in the COVID era, but my summer plans, picture of Charlie, COVID, picture of the telephone pole.
Yeah, memes of that girl and that pole. It's one of Sarah's favorite things.
Oh yeah, that's not going away anytime soon. You suppose that hurt her career more than anything? Because now she's just typecast as a decapitated head. Really.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, again, how many casting calls are going out there for that girl?
I mean, I heard they're going to remake.
I don't know.
They're going to remake Mac and Me at some point.
Oh boy.
Perfect. There you have it. I'm going to hell for that one. Anyway, Peter stops. He realizes what happened. He just kind of sits there for a second. And then in probably a post-traumatic shock, he just drives home and goes upstairs and gets in bed. Next morning, Mom goes downstairs, sees daughter minus one head in the back seat, freaks right out. And oddly enough, we're not really going to... I guess we're just going to fast forward like 5-6 months into the future from this point, because no criminal charges, well, at least no talk of criminal charges, no police questioning.
Yeah, they did cut back to her head there by the pole.
That was a motherfucker. I was not expecting them to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a pretty good idea that her head probably popped like a fucking cantaloupe.
Yeah, that thing was gnarly.
Covered
looking.
in ants.
Yeah.
You could tell it was her because, like, she still had that look about her. But, god damn. All right. I guess we're going to show that then.
We are.
That's what we're going to do? All right, fine. Now, this somewhat awkward but still kind of happy family is now completely shattered. Steve, the dad, is a passive participant
in everything.
In anything at all. He's more of a placeholder at this point. But at the same time, I get it. Because, you know, you're dating the crazy chick, or in this case, you're married to the crazy chick. Sometimes you just got to ride the crazy wave, you know. I've dated strippers. They do crazy shit. Oh, you want me to take you out to dinner? You've drawn a Viking rune on your forehead, and you... I'm not... Sometimes you got to reel them in. I'm not going out to dinner with you looking like that. Why? Does it intimidate you? No, you just look ridiculous. It's because it's a powerful... Okay, whatever. I'm going home. But anyway, that's kind of... He feels the pain, and we kind of hammer that scene home by him driving off, and he stops at a red light, and he just breaks down and starts crying. Obviously, he loved his daughter, and he misses her, and all that, but at the same time, dude, the fucking wackiness that's going on with Annie at this point is ramping up. Now, the good news, though, is that Annie has found a support group, and she was using it originally to deal with the loss of her mother, but now she can just add an extra scoop onto that grief sundae and really pile it in.
This support group was not prepared for her introduction.
No, and the way she just nonchalantly, well, my brother committed suicide, and Mom always blamed me, and cause she was just such a fucking bitch anyway, but now my daughter's kind of weird, and my daughter just died too, so that's another thing, and everybody's like slowly backing away. All right, you just let it all out there, sweet tits. So that's kind of a thing, and this is where things are going to get kind of weirder, because Annie rolls out to the support group one night. She sits in the parking lot for a few minutes and then decides tonight's not the night, so she starts backing out of the parking lot, and an older lady flags her down. Now, if you watch the earlier scene closely, where she's giving this long-winded monologue introducing herself to the group, Joan is not in that scene, and that, to my knowledge, is the only time Annie ever went to that group. Could be wrong. There could be some other stuff there that I missed. But Joan, who is this heavy-set older lady, Flags are down, and she's like, "Oh, are you coming inside?" And Annie's like, "Yeah, just forgot something. Gotta go." She's like, "Oh, I remembered you. I remembered you from you and your mom, and I'm here too for grief." And Joan is very theatrical and grandiose, and at first she kind of comes on like a caring mother figure. But there's something very interesting about the scenes with Joan and Annie. If you watch it, Joan cannot keep her hands off of Annie. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she's very touchy.
Very touchy and just grabby and constantly pulling Annie and touching her hair and her face. And Annie's awkward enough as it is, so you're like, oh, it's kind of weird. But Annie's kind of like backpedaling and like, get some space here. Joan gives Annie her phone number, and Annie drives away finally, and that's that. Things are getting heated around the house. There's a lot of tension between Peter and Annie. Clearly, Peter blames himself, but this family dynamic is such a it's a nightmare is what it is.
Yeah, and Peter, or who's the dad again?
Steve.
Yeah, he's, and he's got to suppress everything because you've got this broken, shattered son.
Totally.
Dead daughter.
Yeah.
And fucking Crazy Train Express for a wife.
Yeah.
So you have to play it straight.
Totally. But more to the point, Crazy Train Express wife is now ramping it up.
Yeah.
And I get it. She's kind of in this post-traumatic grief situation. So who's to say that I would probably ramp? I would be a fucking mess if I lost one of my kids.
Sure.
But I like to think that I could at least keep one foot in reality and not go completely off into the weird dark world of whatever the fuck. But anyway, there's a lot of tension there. So as I'm kind of trying to wrap my head around this, and as it's explained in this big blow-up dinner screaming match, Peter, at least to anybody's perception, is not taking responsibility for the death of Charlie. At least not coming out and saying it. We all have to accept that he blames himself and that he feels terrible, but he just won't come out and say it. So that is making Annie resentful because she feels that he's not taking responsibility for anything, and thus she can't forgive him because he won't take responsibility for it. So therein basically lies this whole tension mounting situation. Big blow up at dinner one night. They start yelling at each other. It was great.
Yeah, and he turns it right back to her. Like, well, if you wouldn't have shoved her down my throat, I wouldn't have taken her. She wouldn't have died.
Exactly. She didn't want to go.
Who really is the guilty one here?
Realistically, nobody. But, I mean, I would assume that in that kind of a situation, regardless of whether you want to or not, there's going to be some, like, subconscious finger pointing. If I hadn't have done this, if she hadn't have done that, if that, blah, 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 blah. As I imagine there's no way around it, and I hope I never find out for sure. But that's kind of like the culmination of things. Now we're going to get even weirder because Peter is going back to school. He starts getting like these weird allergic reaction attacks. But right before he gets one, every time there's like a weird light orb thing that shows up and kind of like flashes around a little bit. It could be brain damage. It could be a brain tumor. It could be something that he's seeing. Clearly nobody else in his class is seeing these things. But he's really starting to like fuck himself up. He's getting high with his friends under some bleachers. All of a sudden his throat starts closing. Like he's having an allergic reaction. Another time he goes into this weird muscle spasm thing and starts slamming his face into the desk. Weird shit, dude. Weird shit all the way around. Now we're going to cut back to Annie. She finally grows a pair and starts digging around her mom's stuff. We find a weird photo album. You got a lot of weird... I wouldn't have said this was a cult movie up until the last 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Watching it a second go around, or a third or fourth or whatever.
A lot of nods, a lot of tails.
You start to see how the cult kind of shit is building up here. A lot of weird books on spiritualism. A photo album of Annie's mom, like, doing some weird religious rites, I guess, like wearing dresses and dancing. Joni in a lot of those pictures. Joni said before that she had never met Annie's mom, so never made any mention of it at all. That's suspicious. Pretty crazy stuff. This weird necklace that Annie's mom is wearing in every picture shows up, and it's got like a weird symbol on it. Interesting. Doesn't have to be anything, but it is interesting.
Same symbol as the phone pole.
Was there a symbol on the phone pole?
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about 15 minutes ago.
No, I didn't see.
When you said, oh, okay.
I didn't notice that, Jason Harrell.
So you said there's something here that you wouldn't have noticed until you probably watched it a second time. I assumed you were talking about the symbol on the phone pole.
I didn't see a symbol on the phone.
It's that
no shit,
goofy-looking, M-looking kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't see it on there.
It's on that very pole.
No shit.
Yes.
Look at you. Goddamn, I'm learning something here, folks. No, I remember because the camera stops on the phone pole.
They show it going to the party.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I know where that's going. But I didn't notice the symbol on there. Oh, I'm going to have to look again. All right, that's kind of creepy, man. That's like a whole... So now I'm going to have more questions at the end of the movie because I don't see how everything fits together just yet. But anyway, we'll get back to that. So that's kind of weird. And now Joni is like accosting Steve, or not Joni, Annie is accosting Steve, and she's like, look at this, Mom knew this lady, and she never said anything about it, and the symbol, what's this necklace she's wearing all over the place? And Steve is like, oh, God, lady, can you just... I got to deal with this myself. I don't need you up my ass with your conspiracy theories right now, and rightfully so. Peter is getting like more and more distant from the family. Like grades are falling apart. Now he's getting like these weird visions and shit like that.
It's also hearing the sound that Charlie used to make.
Clucking sound. Yeah, but so is Annie. Mm-hmm. So we could still be in haunted territory here. And I guess to a weird degree we kind of are. I don't know. It's pretty gnarly. Annie is going... apparently she had some art show that she had scheduled and she's fallen way behind. So she's like, all right, I got to get caught up on my miniature painting thing. Goes to the art store, comes out and runs into Joni. And Joni's like, oh my God, Annie, it's so good to see you again with the touching.
So touchy.
And they, oh no, and she's like, I have to tell you, drags her back to her car and like, in this secretive kind of clandestine way, I talked to a medium and she got me in touch with my grandson. It's the best. You got to come check it out.
It's the bee's knees.
I tell you, it's so great.
It's
You're going to love it. Woo! Annie is like, God, you crazy lady, get away. But eventually she breaks and goes to Joni's house and they have like a seance kind of a situation. And we get to see this chalkboard like self-animate and write a I love you grandma message on the chalkboard, which freaks Annie right out. She's like, ha, I gotta go. I'm out of here. But before she leaves, Joni gives her a candle and like a pamphlet with some magic words she's got to say. And she's like, well, do that, and then you can contact Charlie, and you're going to love it. So now we go back to the house.
And then she also says specifically, and when you do it, you have to make sure that your entire family's in the house.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not sure what the point of that was, but we'll get to that in a second. Now we get back to the house. We get some really ugly and disturbing dream sequences and some flashbacks, I suppose. So apparently Annie at one point had a real problem with sleepwalking, Jason Harrell. Now, sleepwalking, I understand. My
sleep pyromania.
That's a whole other thing. So once upon a time, my wife's brother used to live here with us. Raging alcoholic. Periodically, he would get up and go pee in a random room in the house.
Sure.
That is what I would call sleepwalking.
Didn't know my brother lived here, but go ahead.
Oh, your brother too, huh? That's a whole thing. But I knew when it was going to happen because he would be fucking shit-faced.
Yep.
And he'd start acting, okay, Casey's at it again. What are you going to do this time, Casey? But this is a whole other shit because apparently Annie, at one point, sleepwalking, got up, doused both the kids in paint thinner and herself, and woke herself up as she was lighting a match. Whoa, that's not sleepwalking. That's like a murder plot, Jason Harrell. That's what that is. that's pretty freaky, but we get like a weird flashback to where Annie goes in and first she sees Peter laying asleep, but there's ants all over him. And then she like wakes up, and then she goes in and sees Peter again, and this time Peter wakes up, and she just blurts out, "I never wanted to have you. I don't like you as a person. You're a terrible kid. I didn't want to have a kid." And he's like, "Why did you have me? Why did you have me?" And he starts crying, and Annie's like crying too. "I'm sorry, but I love you now, I think." And then all of a sudden, Peter is drenched and soaking wet, and then Annie's soaking wet, and then like she just lights a match, and whoosh. And then she wakes up again. She's like, "Oh, fuck. Okay." So I hate that when they do that. Wake up from this nightmare and then, okay, look to your left and the monster's laying right. Okay, now you wake up again.
Right.
It's kind of hacky. But
it is. I am far less mad at this iteration of it than most, though.
There are far worse iterations of it. But eventually she finally does wake up. And this time she goes down and tries to have her little self-seance thing. And I don't know what she did, but apparently it worked. So she runs upstairs, wakes Steve up, wakes Peter up, and drags them both downstairs. And she's like, "Dudes, you got to check this out. I am going to contact Annie because I am actually a medium." Oh, I'm having flashbacks to some of the crazy broads that I dated over the years because they would come up with some very similar shit. "I am in contact with spirits." Okay there, Zoltan, whatever you want me to call you this week. So she drags them both downstairs. She's like, "We're going to do this. We're going to talk to Charlie. It's going to be so awesome." She says the magic words, lights the candle, makes them all... Steve is like, "Dude, I'm trying to heal here, and I'm also trying to get up in a couple hours and go to work, and I would just appreciate it if you would fuck off." But Peter's like, "Well, all right, we're already up. Let's give it a shot." So
why not?
So eventually, they kind of smooth it over a little bit. I don't know what the plan was here, but they all had to touch a glass, and Annie's like, "Okay, Charlie, if you're here, just move the glass, okay?" And then the glass shoots across the room, and they're like, "Oh, fuck!"
That glass wasn't fucking around.
Yeah, and then I think like a cabinet door broke behind them, and they're like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And then the fucking flame on the candle shot up. So, okay, now we're actually a little weirded out here because something may in fact be happening. While that's going on, so one of Charlie's artistic whatevers was that she would draw these very adolescent pictures in a book. And apparently this book has just been drawing in itself ever since Charlie died. So Annie thinks that in order to sufficiently conjure Charlie, she's got to throw the book in the fire. So she does that, and she catches on fire as soon as the book goes up. Okay, that's interesting. So she puts the book out and herself, and she's like, "Okay, that was weird."
I took it as she was calling it quits. Like she was trying to separate from...
It could be.
Okay, I'm going into cuckoo territory here.
I don't know.
Let me just cut the tie, throw this in the fire.
I would like to think so.
But who even knows with this chick?
You know, that would probably be the healthiest decision that she makes.
Sure. Didn't work, though.
Didn't work because somehow she caught on fire in the process. Cut to the next day. Peter's at school, and he gets this weird vision / premonition of Joni, who he's never met, standing across the street, yelling at him to get out. And she's banishing him and just clear on out of here. Oh, weird. In the middle of the school campus. While that's going on back at the house, Annie is snooping around, and she wants to continue going through her mom's stuff. She goes upstairs and finds the headless body of her mom in the attic, complete with flies buzzing around and that weird fucking M symbol on the wall right above it. All right. Now, something that happened earlier in the movie that Steve didn't tell her about was that the mom's grave had been desecrated. And Steve didn't tell her about it because she's wacky enough, and we don't need to open the doors on the crazy train any further than they already are. So Steve comes home, and she's like, "Oh, my God, there's a dead body in the attic with no head, and there's flies everywhere." And Steve's like, "All right, you crazy lady. You want me to go look in the attic? I'll go look in the fucking attic." He goes up there. Sure as shit, there's actually a dead body up there with no head. So he comes down. He's like, "Seriously, Annie? You dug up your own mom and you put her in the attic.
I mean, it is the most obvious thing.
That's what I think anybody would think. Any rational person would think. She's like, no, I didn't do that. That's gross. Why would I do that? He's like, you know what? I'm calling the cops. And she spazzes right out. She's like, no, I can end this. I'm the only one that can end this. I know exactly how to end this. I just need you to take this book, Charlie's picture book, and throw it in the fire and destroy it. After that, you can call the cops, do whatever you need to do, but I need you to do that for me. If I do it, I get put on fire. So you do that, and at this point, Steve is like on his last leg. He's like, fine, takes the book, throws it in the fire. Motherfucker, he just bursts into flames. Total immolation. Whoosh. In the meantime, Peter, well, actually, this happens before that. Peter has a righteous spaz attack right after the premonition at school. Goes into like a weird, gets that fucking anaphylactic shock. You know that look. I mean, you don't know that look, but that's basically what I look like when I have one of my asthma attacks. Weird swelling in the face, usually only around the eyes, and then I go like a thing, and then I can't breathe. I don't start beating my face against a table yet.
Try next time.
I haven't had that experience yet, but that's what he does. Breaks his own nose. Steve goes and picks him up. Takes him upstairs. He's probably pumped full of Benadryl at that point, so he's just completely crashed out. Then Steve goes downstairs, and that's where the dead body talk happens, and then he bursts into flames and dies. Now, cut to that night when Peter finally wakes up from his Allard Clear coma. House is dark, smells like burning flesh, I'm sure. Gets curious, well, not that he could smell anything. Goes downstairs, finds the dead body of his dad. He's like, oh my God. This is where we go right to Horror Town there, Jason. Because watching the background of this whole sequence, Annie pops up in weird places. Mm-hmm. On the ceiling, crouched in a corner.
Yeah, very Exorcist 3.
Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Eventually, he just kind of pauses over the dead body of his dad. Annie, at one point, as the camera is looking at him, is like hovering on the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And then the camera pans away, and when it comes back, she's gone. And then she just bursts out of the shadows of the corner and starts chasing Peter at full speed.
Yeah.
And he is hauling ass trying to get away from her.
Full fucking rage attack.
He makes it up into the attic and pulls the ladder stairs up behind him. She jumps on the ceiling and starts beating her head against the door. He's like, Mommy, stop it, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry. The dead body is gone at that point. But eventually the beating stops. He goes to open the attic staircase thing, and she goes running up there. He jumps out of the window and lands in a flower bed. Now, if you watch this scene closely, this is kind of weird. You'll see like a shadow move over Peter and then off camera out into somewhere else, and then you'll see that weird light manifestation move into him. Mm-hmm. He then wakes up, just kind of staggers around for a second, sees some weird lights up in the treehouse, goes up there, and we have this. Now we're in full-on cult town, baby. Because there's a bunch of naked people hanging around the attic, or hanging around the yard.
Now, back in the attic, before he jumps out of the window, his mom is up there with him.
Yeah.
And gives herself
I forgot that. Yeah, that part was gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like hovering above. Is she hovering or is she hanging?
Yeah, she's like, I think she's floating.
Yeah.
In the attic, so she's now went through the door apparently.
Somehow.
So she's manifested inside the attic, and then she has like one of those little wire saws.
Yeah. And just taking her own head off. Mm-hmm. Nasty. Staring at him the whole time. Blood's flying everywhere. He jumps, wakes up, goes up to the treehouse, and there's like a full cult welcoming committee, I guess, for lack of a better term.
A lot of out of shape butts.
Oh yeah, nobody's running any 5Ks in this group. They're like in a kneeling, kind of prostrate position. He gets up there. We find out that Joni is like the head priest, and she has summoned Payman, King Payman, one of the 8 kings of hell. But see, this is the part I don't fully understand, because Peter goes up there, and she starts addressing him as Charlie.
Yes.
And then she's like, Charlie, you're now King Payment, one of the 8 kings of hell. Hail Payment. And they've got they've got like a mannequin built, and they've got, I guess, the grandma's severed head on the mannequin with a crown on it, and then they take the crown off and they put it on Peter, and that's pretty much the end of your movie.
Woo! Yeah, so the one part, I guess it confuses me. Okay, so Charlie has been... So they basically have gotten Peter to vacate his own body. Charlie is now inhabiting Peter's body. Joan says, we've put you into this male body.
Right.
Now, far earlier in the movie, Charlie had said to her mom that Grandma wanted me to be a boy.
Right.
So I guess maybe it was the second born male in that case.
Okay.
Like what? I mean, because what would be the purpose? Like, why would the grandmother want Charlie to be a boy unless they needed a boy or a male for the ceremony?
Then if that's the case, then why do they need Charlie at all? You know what I'm saying?
Unless it has to be like the second born, and the only way they could pull that off is like taking the second born, putting it into a male form.
Sure. Like that's
now we're getting into transgenderism.
Oh, don't you misgender somebody?
Either you needed a female or you needed a male. So that's the part that confuses me. Because you're still taking the essence of a girl,
right, and putting
but you put it inside of Peter's body.
Yeah. So why even?
So that's like all joking aside, like this is the part that confuses me.
No, it confuses me too. I don't know.
This is where I'm lost, but I still end up enjoying the whole movie.
Me too. I loved it. It's what I want from a horror movie: dark, disturbing. Thought-provoking, but I wouldn't call it elevated horror, even though I don't get it. That some of the imagery is going to stay with me, like the severed head on the side of the road with all the ants on it. Things like that. Some fan theories. So everybody wants Ari Aster to have like a cohesive universe, and they're trying desperately to tie this to Midsommar. So here's some of the fan theories.
Oh, boy.
As Annie is leaving the art store, you see a younger couple walking in. All you see is the back of their heads, but the backs of their heads do match the 2 main characters from Midsommar. That's something. Also, apparently, somewhere in the Midsommar ritual or whatever, the house that they light on fire with all the dead guys in it, you can find a King Payment symbol in there. So theoretically, they are the village or whatever it is from Midsommar are Payment worshippers.
Sure,
possibly.
Maybe Ari Aster only knows one, demigod. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Like I said, he's neither confirmed nor denied it, so there is that. I don't really care one way or the other.
Oh, I don't care either.
I like this a lot more than Midsommar. I'll tell you that. I felt like Midsommar was just a remake of The Wicker Man.
I felt 100% that way. Except Wicker Man's far better. To me, the original Wicker Man is better than Midsommar.
I would say that Midsommar is more visceral. I don't know.
In parts.
I mean, Wicker Man's a lot of singing and dancing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's a whole lot of that in Midsommar.
No, you're right, but I mean, a guy gets stuffed in a dead bear. That's kind of cool.
I guess it's just the ending of Wicker Man that is the gut punch for me.
Sure.
Midsommar doesn't have that to me.
Yeah, I agree. Great show. If you haven't seen Hereditary, you're going to want to check that out. A lot of people think this is just one big allegory for mental illness. It's definitely a subtext, for sure. Grief, bipolarism, possible some multiple personality disorder, maybe some, what do you call, autism in there.
I see it as a very on-the-nose cult movie.
The first time I saw it, I would not recognize it as a cult movie until the last 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it the second time, you're right. It is a cult movie.
Yeah.
From the jump, really.
Psychotic or not, it's a cult movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any allegory there. She's fucking nuts, but rightly so.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I mean, with all that's happened in that whole family's life.
Absolutely. Woo! I wonder what her childhood was like.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure it was a nightmare.
Well, even going back to like some of the miniatures that she did you see the one where she was in bed with like baby Charlie and the grandmother was there, but with her tit hanging out to breastfeed.
Whoa, I didn't catch that part.
To breastfeed her granddaughter.
Okay.
And those miniatures are representational of life events.
Yeah.
So, and you had even said earlier that while who's our main lady?
Annie.
There we go. While Annie is in the support group, she was talking about how basically her mother took the child from her and basically kept her as her own almost and fed her and like all but held her captive, really just, suffocated the granddaughter.
Totally.
So she was definitely doing some wacky shit with the baby.
So that brings up another interesting point. Not to beat this to death or anything, but Annie mentions that she at one point had a brother who committed suicide. So I wonder if that was a failed attempt to bring payment in.
So he hung himself, or hanged himself. So, yeah, maybe it's just all part of this continuation of, of the summoning or the sacrifices.
A lot to unpack here. We need
Damn it, are we going to have to look up a Hereditary Explained video?
No, we're not doing it. All right, inmates. Let's take us a little break. We'll come back with some other stuff. Try not to hang yourselves.
Dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. timepiece. And what am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them wanna use you. Some of them wanna be used by you. Some of them wanna abuse you. Some of them wanna be abused. Sweet dreams are made of these. 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 Sweet dreams
Hey inmates, if you like what you hear, head over to the Padded Room Facebook group and support us through the Patreon link with a small monthly donation. Check out the T-Villain link at paddedroom.podbean.com and grab some t-shirts. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, Jason Harrell.
All right.
That was Hereditary, and that closes out Cult Month here in the Padded Room. Give me a power ranking, if you will, of the cult movies that we watched.
Oh, boy. You act like my old man recollection can remember what the fuck I just watched.
So we did Hereditary. We
Let's
did
see.
Rosemary's Baby. We did The Invitation and The Sacrament.
So I'm going to go Hereditary, The Invitation, The Sacrament. No. Hereditary. What the fuck did I just say? Invitation, Rosemary's Baby, The Sacrament.
I would do the same, except I would flip The Sacrament and Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
I just can't do it, man. I can't. I do not understand the appeal of it.
The Sacrament serves no purpose.
I mean,
It's offensive. Again.
I wouldn't say it's offensive.
It's offensive that what's the point?
It's got a serious lack of originality, or
There's no originality.
No, it's just a retelling of Jonestown on a smaller
Yeah,
scale.
that exists on countless documentaries.
Oh, totally. And I mean, like, down to the speech and the look of Father as compared to Jim Jones.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
It is.
I like cult movies. They're not my favorite subgenre of horror, but they definitely I find them disturbing because these things happen, man. People get pulled into these Nexium cults, these Jonestown situations, Waco, for Christ's sakes, and I don't understand how anybody could do that, but I don't think anybody does until they're already waist deep in it.
I guess, and maybe that's the appeal. I've never understood that turning point where Where to me, I can't understand how a person doesn't say, wait a minute, this is a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
I think I'll leave.
Yeah.
It's way too many of these cults are just like all in.
Totally. You know?
But I also weigh that against my own like beliefs. Because I mean, who's to say? Like my belief system, Christianity, like who's to say I'm not the wacky one versus, the Jonestown people?
Very true.
We've got our beliefs, they've got their beliefs, and that's why, short of Scientology and Lord Xenu, I don't really make fun of too many religions because I know that to someone who's not in that same religion, it can seem very goofy.
I think the dividing line is probably the family. The one concurrent subtext of most of these cults is that they try to bring in your whole family and then they try to split you up. And that, I think, is some kind of a breaking point to where they can fully reel you in using your own family against you. That's what Scientology does. They decide who's going to be your family and they separate you. And then you're just trying to get back to them and you'll do whatever they say just to get back to your family. I don't know, man. I don't know anything about it. It's wildly depressing to me all the way around. And definitely ripe for horror movies.
Yep.
Speaking of cults, man, we should start our own cult. It would be a very laissez-faire cult, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Church of Me.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Oh, you want to watch a movie? All right.
Thou shalt sitteth upon thy couch.
It would be ridiculous. All right, let's get into the Terradome, Mr. Harrell.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in. I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy. I'll kill you all. My worst dream come true.
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, with blackish eyes, the devil's eyes.
Welcome to the Terradome.
We're going to start things off with last week's winners, Jason. Teams competition, we had the Hereditary brothers versus the Silent Hill nurses. Instinct told the brothers that they had walked into a trap. They weren't wrong. As darkness fell, they found themselves surrounded by strange women moving in a contorted fashion. Then blades and weapons were produced, and the brothers fell. With a vote of 8-6, a close one, the nurses prevail over the Hereditary brothers. I like that.
Good win.
I like the nurses. You never know how many of them there are. And I never really got too deep into the Silent Hill games, but I imagine they'd be a nasty customer to deal with in a gaming level, and just kind of freaky to deal with. But the cosplay that chicks get into when they want to do the nurses, ooh, the little push-up things with the shirts.
Way to squeeze your own tits.
I tell you what,
simmer
man.
down over there.
Hey now. God damn, do I love a sexy, somewhat disfigured nurse. Let's take a look at this week's matchup, Jason. As usual, bear with me, inmates. I do not write things very well. The night was dark despite the full moon. The cabin was secluded and isolated, just as the pack had requested. Nothing but forest for miles in every direction. By outward appearances, they appeared to be just another group of middle-aged acquaintances out for a weekend getaway. But in truth, they were shapeshifters, werewolves out for their annual wilding in the Pacific Northwest. A quarter-mile away on a forgotten logging road, a black SUV creeps to a halt as the midnight fog rolls in. The occupants don body armor, ballistic masks, and load firearms. The occupants of the Airbnb were about to have some uninvited guests. The local BTK posse was about to get an unexpected surprise as well. Team's competition, we have werewolves versus home invaders, Jason. How say you?
Gotta go werewolves.
Me too. I don't like home invaders, but they can be nasty customers. I would take them over maybe the midwives. They could maybe take the midwives.
Yeah, they could.
Maybe, no, not critters.
Tomatoes?
No.
No.
Apparently nobody can beat tomatoes at anything ever, for fuck's sake. That's your Terradome matchup for the weekend, mates. It's werewolves versus the home invaders. Get us your votes by next week if you can. The mental health hotline is area code 775-387-0275, or get us on the email at thepaddedroom2011@hotmail.com. But now, while you're contemplating that bloody brawl in the woods, we're going to tell you what movies we got to watch this week in a little segment called What Are You Looking At, Tough Guy?
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Was that Minnie from Rosemary's Baby in the room? Oh, you better get her out of here.
What are you looking at?
How about Hard Rock Zombies from 1985, Jason Harrell?
What say you?
Oh my God! What do you want in a horror movie? You want some zombies? You got them. You want Adolf Hitler? He's in there. You
Nice.
want a old lady werewolf with twin switchblades? She's going to show up. We've got some interpretive dance going on.
Ooh.
I tell you, it's like a weird hot 80s teased hair kind of interpretive dance too.
I'm sold.
With a lot of kicking. Do a lot of kicks back then.
And I see here you picked up the Vinegar Syndrome release with one of the sexiest slipcovers I've ever seen on a movie.
Look at that.
Far better than the movie, I imagine.
I actually remember this movie fondly, and I got to tell you, it did not disappoint me.
That's good.
That particular version has a bunch of apparently there were several versions. This whole thing is explained in the Vinegar Syndrome, the opening of the movie. A lot of bonus scenes were cut out, but then they found them and put them back in. So there's a lot of weird jumping between a pretty good transfer to a really shit transfer,
Sure.
and then back to a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I remembered this movie as a kid, and I loved it, and I still love it. It's bananas. It's ridiculous, but I loved it anyway, and I still do, Jason. The bonus side of that is another movie called Slaughterhouse Rock from 1985. This movie isn't very good. I'm sorry.
It's a bold statement.
It's not very good. Remember last week when I said I'll throw any movie a couple bonus points if it takes place in any kind of an abandoned facility or structure? This one takes place on Alcatraz Island and was filmed in large part on Alcatraz Island. Doesn't make a lick of sense, any of it. Why we went to Alcatraz, I have no idea. This weird Elvira chick shows up in the middle, and she's like somebody's spirit guardian.
So maybe that's why they call it Rock?
It could. Oh, that might make sense. Slaughterhouse.
See, I assume since it's on, it's bundled with Hard Rock Zombies, that it was another rock-based kind of 80s horror movie.
It's 80s. And
so I guess it would make more sense that it's on the Rock.
Sure. I'll buy that. That's more sense than I could make out of it. I don't remember seeing that one as a kid, and I don't need that in my life.
All right.
Also watch Black Sunday in my attempt to get caught up with Joe Bob's season 4. I have a love-hate relationship with Italian horror movies, I find. Italian supernatural horror movies, usually pretty good. This one in particular. Directed by Mario Bava, features a witch played by Barbara Still and her incestuous vampire older brother coming back from the dead to wreak havoc on the people that executed them. Joe Bob did a deep dive. I know more about Italian horror than I need to, but I'm not a fan so much of giallos, the classic Italian horror murder mysteries. You know what I mean? Because those are very formulaic. Demons, which was directed by Umberto Bava, Mario Bava's son, is batshit crazy and one of my favorite movies of all time. That one will blow your mind. That's all I'm looking at this week. Jason, what do you got?
Rewatched The Blob, the 88 version.
I think that one's actually better than the original.
It is. It's actually really fun. It's got some good effects in there too. They've definitely got some cheesiness too,
right?
But they've got some great like practical effects and some great like just special effects with like faces melting off and shit like that.
Given your phobia of snot in general, how do you watch The Blob?
It's pink.
That makes it okay?
Yeah. There's no booger there.
I think there might be.
Sarah and I rewatched The Witch. So there was 2 movies that she wanted to rewatch because I've sang the praises of them.
Okay.
And one of them was The Witch, and because the only other time she's seen it was in theater. Mm-hmm. No subtitles, very hard to understand.
Right.
We rewatched it with subtitles, and she got a lot more out of it and completely loved the movie.
Cool.
And I still really, really, really love that movie. We also rewatched You're Next. So this is, she has hated this movie since we saw it in theater, and she had a blast with it.
It's fun.
It's a very fun movie.
I think Joe Swanberg kind of makes that movie.
Which one is he?
Drake, I think.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Which
brother?
The dipshit brother who's like complaining about everybody all the time.
Yes.
Constantly looking for like an angle to get dad's money.
And he's one of the 2 guys that was in the last movie we just watched.
The Sacrament.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
What a prick, though.
I know, but he's great.
God, he's great at it.
When he's got the arrow in his back.
Kind of unprofessional.
And he's telling everybody what a lowlife they are as he's writhing around.
Oh, it was great.
Yep.
A movie I had never seen before, and I may butcher the name, Tenebrae?
Tenebrae, yeah. Speaking of Italian giallos.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd never seen it. Heard a guy singing its praises on some YouTube thing. Watched it. It's not bad.
I think Joe Bob did a dive on that one too.
Yeah, it's way longer than I wanted it to be.
That's Dario Argento, if I remember correctly.
The music is great.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really good music.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what sold me on the whole thing. And Disturbing Behavior. I had never seen that from 1998. That is exactly what I thought it would be from 1998, and it didn't disappoint. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Did that one kind of tug on your nostalgia strings a little bit?
Yeah, it's like
90s high school.
So many movies from that time.
Yeah.
The Faculty.
Yeah,
that type of deal.
Right on, man.
Forgot the biggest one. Sorry about that.
Shit. Whoa, look out.
We actually went to the movies.
Okay.
Saw The Black Phone.
What did you think?
We really liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave it a strong 7.
Nice.
Sarah, I think, came in just over 7 herself.
Nice.
No, really good. Of course, I went into it completely blind, had no idea what it was about or anything. And are you still convinced you've seen this movie?
I am, and I can't tell you why or when or how.
Yeah.
But I remember a child abduction involving black balloons. And I remember like a basement with a phone in it that kept ringing, and it was other kids telling the abductee how to make his escape. It was like the ghost of other kids.
Yeah, that's so wild.
I
look forward to you seeing the whole thing.
I will.
Just so you can definitively say, okay, I've seen this somehow, some way.
I wonder if this is like it's probably not a remake, but I wonder if there was like some vignette or short story that this was based on or something to that degree.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is just wildly familiar to
me.
I
kind of had the same experience with It Lies Beneath.
What Lies Beneath?
Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster. No,
I can't remember.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
There it is. when I saw that movie, I knew every bit of it as it played out. I had obviously never seen it, but the whole time I'm like, I've seen this fucking movie before. And from start to finish, I knew I had seen this movie before. So I'm really curious if you've somehow, some way, through telepathy or something, seen The Black Phone.
So the only possible explanation I have is back when you had your pirate ship and I was like sidecarring it or whatever it was.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I would just log on to your pirate ship and I would go to on my cell phone and I would look at my favorite horror podcast, look at their Instagram, and they would always have all these posters for upcoming horror movies, and I would just type the name on the poster into your pirate thing, and then I would just watch whatever showed up.
And there's a slight chance it could have grabbed because it was released in I don't know, the Philippines or something last year. But late last year, I believe.
Yeah. No, I'm talking 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I wonder if there was another... I don't know. Maybe I am time traveling.
It could be.
I hate it. I hate doing it. I try not to. Let's do a little immersion therapy there. Hot dog. You realize I'm going to keep calling you hot dog because your wife is now calling me hot dog. And sending me texts with pictures of hot dogs.
Yeah, speaking of which, you haven't gotten one of those from Carter Burke in
I have not.
quite a while.
Son of a bitch. Maybe I blocked him on accident.
Immersion therapy.
You have seen The Rental before, I believe.
I have.
What'd you think of it?
I liked it as much this time as the first time.
I liked it quite a bit.
Good. I'm glad.
I love it when people try to get all self-righteous when they know damn well that they're doing dirt behind people's back.
You bet.
Mainly the chick, the side piece, the brother's girlfriend,
the Indian chick.
Yeah, that what's his name ended up having sex with.
Right.
And she was just so quick. Oh, he's a racist. He's a dirty son of a.
Yeah.
Look at, he's got cameras in here. Well, you got caught fucking around.
Yep.
Peanut. And
fucking Peanut. Look here, hot dog and Peanut.
Listen here, there, Cupcake. And you're the one doing the dirt. Unfortunately, the guy that you were so quick to accuse actually had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And if you could have just kept your fucking mouth shut. Every year for my wife's birthday, my wife shares a birthday with two of our other friends. We all get an Airbnb. We all go up to the lake, get completely hammered. I assume I am on somebody's webcam.
There's webcam somewhere.
I assume that.
You best believe.
Thus, I walk in there with about an hour and a half of fast-moving comedy and song and dance. I put on a show.
Sure.
You know? I've got some skits written out that we're going to perform for our webcam audience. We are going to have sex, so...
Sorry for the disappointment.
You're probably going to want to edit that part out, but, it's getting all high and mighty and being like, oh, wait, you know what, you son of a bitch? And he's like, oh, I'll call the police if there's cameras in here. I don't know anything about it. And then, kaboom, and now we have a serious problem.
The great thing about rewatching it is I had completely forgotten, the payoff. I had forgotten all about... that dude not being the guy,
right,
and there being another guy, and so it was like rewatching a movie all over again. It was great.
I really wish I had your level of Alzheimer's to where I could completely block out movies and watch them for the first time all over again.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I love that.
I meet new people all the time.
Oh, it's beautiful. But I think the high point of this movie was when the hot wife got all drugged up.
Right.
She just didn't give a fuck about anything for
zero fucks.
Yeah, they lost the dog.
That side piece, she wasn't even attractive.
No, she had an old lady face on her, right?
It's kind of a horse face.
I mean, I get it. You're all mollied up, and you're in the hot tub, and you're so
sure.
you're creative.
There's that.
Sure, a boner's going to pop out. That's going to happen. But following her into the shower and being like, hey,
Yeah.
let's get it on. All right, now you're just fucking around.
Let's ruin my marriage for this.
Yeah, now you're just fucking
For
around.
banging Mr. Ed.
I loved it. I liked the artistic direction of it, like the lighting of that place and the way it was filmed.
I thought it was filmed great.
Yeah, and for Franco being, I don't think he was a first-time director, but he's still making his way as a director. I thought it looked really good.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, man. Check that shit out, Inmates, if you haven't already. Jason, do you have something for immersion therapy?
Sure do.
All right, good, because I was about to panic.
I'm forcing your hand.
Please do, because whenever I pick one, it's dog shit. Go ahead.
The Hunt.
The Hunt. Okay.
A movie I have been begging you to watch
You
for
have.
a very long time. So I figured this is finally my way.
Let's have it, buddy. What device is it streaming on? Or
I
what
don't
service?
know.
Okay. We didn't really.
You didn't tell me there was a prerequisite.
We didn't really put any effort into this particular show. Let's see what we can find about The Hunt. From
All right.
2020.
Yes, I've only been asking you for the better part of a year and a half to watch it.
It's true. Starring Betty Gilpin, Hilary Swank, and some other people. Looks like you can watch this one for free on something called
Freevee?
Amazon Freevee. 2.8 stars, Jason Harrell. Wow.
I hear you, Slaughterhouse Rock.
Oh, no, it got 6.5, actually.
Okay, jeez.
And you can make fun of Slaughterhouse Rock all you want, sir.
Most people have probably seen it already. You're the only one that's slipping.
I am going to watch it. Looks like The Hunt is on Amazon Prime, my good friend. So check that shit out, Inmates. We will do the same and compare notes next week. And Jason is going to make fun of me for not having seen it sooner. God damn it. In the meantime, I think it's time to educate me.
I think so.
Educating Miss Monica.
First, my clues from last week. I am a lonely cowpoke working on my dad's ranch with my kid brother. Finally got a couple bucks in my pocket. I'm going to head into town and find me some romance, which I do with a mulleted young lady. But 1985, I guess that was a thing. God damn, does she have some weird friends that she hangs with? Nasty bunch, really. Really made a mess in that old watering hole, too. I am, of course, Near Dark. Have you seen Near Dark, Jason?
Yeah, the one time. And that'll be the last time.
It's like the Sun Valley version of Lost Boys.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, I don't know how else to explain. It's like the grimy... If you want vampires that don't have fangs and you are not at all interested in having sex with, go to Near Dark. Lance Henriksen.
If you want to watch Bill Paxton ruin another movie,
Oh, God.
watch Near Dark.
He did not ruin that movie. He was pretty hammy in that one, though, to be honest with you.
He's full Bill Paxton in it.
Full-on Bill Paxton. Who might I be this week, you ask? Well, that is a good question. Well, Jason, I have been offered a substantial amount of money to prove that there is life after death. Now, how am I going to do that, you ask? That's going to be a hard sell. Only way I can think of to do it is to lock myself, my wife, my weird contraption, and a couple of psychics into what is known and proven to be the most haunted house in this country that I'm in. We're going to have meals delivered to us. Things are going to get a little horny there, Jason.
Yes.
And it may include, it may be limited to, but not possibly be exclusive to, vampirism, sadism, bestiality, necrophilia, a whole list of other weird sex stuff that is not coming to mind right just at the moment. But it's all sexy, and there may or may not be a dead body in here with us, but we'll get to the bottom of that. as the story unfolds. Who am I, you ask?
My home videos.
Well, I wasn't going to out you like that, but since you brought it up. In the meantime, check that out. I will tune in next week, and I'll drop some knowledge on you as to who I was, or am, or could be. In the meantime, I think that's about going to do it for us this week, Jason. Join us next week for Evil Dead, kicking off Evil Dead month here in the Padded Room. All month of July, we're going to be covering the Evil Dead franchise. Like, comment, subscribe wherever you found this show. That helps our visibility quite a bit. We also have a Patreon campaign running. I believe September is up for grabs. $5 donation gets you control of that month, a Padded Room travel mug, a Padded Room t-shirt, and as much hardcore pornography as I can fit into a package and legally send to you. And that's about it. You got anything else on the week, big guy?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
If we can stretch this out for a minute.
Absolutely.
I really want to have a quick conversation about how many movies does it take to qualify as a franchise? Horror franchise.
I would say 4.
4?
Yes. And the reason I say that is because you can have a horror movie, add another one, you've got a sequel.
Sure.
Add another one, you've got a trilogy. After that, I feel like you are in franchise territory.
So you wouldn't have considered, let's say, Nightmare on Elm Street a franchise by Part 3?
No, especially not that one. And the reason why I say that is because Part 1 is so far, Part 2, I should say, is so far removed from Part 1.
Okay.
It's almost a completely different. It has nothing to do with anything. It just happens to feature Freddy Krueger.
Okay, so then let's go, by that argument, let's go Scream.
Okay.
Since the formula is damn near identical, 1, 2, and 3.
That's a franchise.
It's by 3.
Oh, okay. No, if they had ended it at 3, I would still call it a trilogy. Because that, for some reason, the trilogy in horror is like some kind of, it's like a formula into itself. Now, if they had ended it at 3, say they killed Sidney Prescott off in 3, or killed everybody off for that matter, completely closed the book, then it would be a trilogy. And then they made another one after that. It would have to be so far removed from the original trilogy that it would beg some serious questions as to whether or not it was part of the franchise per se. Yes, I did air quotes around franchise.
Gremlins. 1 and 2.
I wouldn't call that a franchise.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
so my argument is that it's 2.
Okay.
I was just curious because it seems like most people lean towards 3. You're the first I've heard to say 4.
Yeah.
So I was just curious to get your D's hot take.
Woo! That's a hot take.
Is that a new segment? Woo! D's hot take.
So, but the reason I bring up the trilogy is because I think a lot of filmmakers will make that first movie with the idea of a trilogy already in mind. You know what I'm saying? So they'll take X, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Ty West made X. As he was fucking around, he went ahead and wrote a script for a prequel. And I don't know if we're ever going to get a sequel or if he has anything else in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of filmmakers they'll kind of try to Tarantino themselves. Take Fear Street, for example. Original movie, sequel, then a prequel. Trilogy. That's kind of the formula for the trilogy. Or it could go other ways, you know.
I can appreciate calling it a trilogy because it, by definition, is a trilogy. But at the same time, I still think it can also be a franchise.
What, X or Fear Street?
Whatever. By 2 installments in any of these movies, it has the potential of being, or it is a franchise at that point because X. So you've got the prequel and you've got X.
Right.
Storyline's the same, characters. So it inherently is, to me, a franchise.
Okay.
Not just a prequel.
Or a sequel.
Or a sequel, whatever you want to call it. Or sequel, prequel, or what's the other thing that...
was it a fucking frequel or something like that? Or
I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't even care anymore.
I was just curious what your take was.
No, I think there's plenty of good horror movies out there that do have sequels or prequels. But I don't know that I would call that a franchise. Especially, or you take other movies. Take what's a good example? Fuck me, I can't think of one off the top. Okay, take Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween 1, great. Halloween 2 picks up right where Halloween 1 left off. Halloween 3, completely different whole situation.
Sure.
Now, a lot of people will say Halloween 3 isn't part of the quote-unquote franchise because it doesn't involve Michael Myers.
Right.
So, it's not really a sequel or a prequel. But it is still part of the Halloween franchise. So then that takes you to a different style of movie that you could almost consider more of an anthology, except every movie is its own independent thing. So now we're getting into like American Horror Story territory where, okay, maybe here's this movie and that movie. And then we get into like fucking universe. But like talk about Ari Aster and how Hereditary might tie into Midsummer, or how you look at the works of Stephen King and you have all these interlaced characters. Well, Shining isn't really a sequel, or it isn't really a sequel to The Shining, but there is a weird tie-in where Dick Halloran saved Mike Hanlon's dad from a fire at the bar that they used to work at together. So technically, I mean, there is that kind of loose tie-in but they're completely different stories. So now we have this cohesive universe situation. Is that a franchise? Is Stephen King's entire body of work one big franchise? Oh, Mr. Harrell.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted D's hot take.
Okay.
But even something like Jeepers Creepers.
Okay.
Now, we had 3. But I would say that by the second one, we have a Creeper franchise. And the potential to continue that franchise. But I think at that second one, you franchised out.
Okay.
Because you went past the initial.
Okay.
Just like, with anything, as soon as it hits the second one, like The Collector, I consider that,
a franchise.
A franchise.
Sure.
Sadly, doesn't look like we'll ever get any more, but
probably not.
I love that guy.
Sure. I liked him too.
But I was just wondering if you had a definitive number that you had attached to it.
Let's put it out there, inmates. Mental health hotline, area code 775-387-0275. Email thepaddedroom2011 at hotmail.com. What is your definition of a franchise is what we want to know. Let us know in next week's listener mail. I say 4. Jason says 2. I'm curious to what your wife thinks. Or is she just going to call you a faggot and tell you to shut up?
I think she thinks 3.
3? I'm into it. I can see that. All right, inmates. 4, franchise or not franchise. Sequels, prequels,
requels?
Requels, I think is what it was. Funko toys, hard rock zombies, weird mental illnesses that could be passed from mother to daughter, or cults that could be... I guess the cult could possibly be hereditary too. I don't know. And the Padded Room Podcast. I'm afraid visiting hours are over.
Bye, everybody.
I want to know how to survive in the nightlife.
Why did the dinosaur cross the road? Because the chicken wasn't born yet.